This
What
is an
about
interesting. This is an insight that I've kind of noticed, but it's fine with. Is when I bring up family, it doesn't draw a crowd.
well, yeah, but I didn't know you had family.
No, when I bring no, not that. The
Oh,
title
right.
for
Oh,
today's
right.
topic. So the it might also be timing, but yeah. Last night I was still the only one that was going to be coming, so I don't know if you signed up on meetups or not, but
Yeah, I got a little bit behind this week. There was a lot of stuff on, so I just
phew,
signed
amazing.
in this morning.
I'll share my thingy and we'll get that going so that I know, make that happen. Let's see now, whiteboard. I often get into all these conversations that are great conversations. There we go. It's exciting. All right. Bam. Oh, no, that's not what I want either. Bam. It goes away.
So
Oh, I see what happened. What's that?
when I did your Friday flow
Right.
and I did the recording. Where is the recording?
Did you do the? Oh, you did it somewhere.
Yeah, it said it was going to iCloud, but I can't find the damn thing.
That's a problem.
So I don't know because I was going to send it to you.
I believe I also got on YouTube. Let's check that in just a moment. Uh, if I start with this procedure stuff, then it keeps that done. So it's also a good exercise for me to like, oh, there's this thing. I'm not gonna get distracted right away.
Good morning.
So we're live on YouTube.
Hey, Annie.
Good morning, Annie.
Sorry I'm late. I had a
You can use it for your
7:30.
social media. You can gauge challenges. You attended a whim, connect with everybody. It's kind of a rough draft. Every time I'm doing this, I'm just kind of a little bit better or adding something else to make it a little more not better, or at least more confusing. So there's the whole way I do this is kind of like sort of steadily going instead of like investing much time outside of it. Maybe an hour to get too much into it, but that's the idea. Is we're just creating a space to kind of engage and have a topic if we want it, or if I want it. Attendee greeting: who and does what. Okay, so an open discussion, then it's going to be after that, and we'll ask questions at the end. And I'm kind of changing it up so it's a 10-second quest help. So like at the end, like what's something anyone can do for 10 seconds help on your quest. So just we'll talk about that again at the end, but maybe that'll get more smooth. Welcome to Adam's Friday Flow for entrepreneurs with entrepreneurs. Uh, and the challenge question we had was, how do you currently flip between home and business activities? And at the time that I was setting this up, no one had given me a response yet. So you can think about that. So put your publishable intros in the chat, and that is what's going to tell the order. You want to make them clickable, which in Zoom these days, maybe they'll eventually catch up with other platforms that they can just put www dot. But in Zoom, you have to put the http colon backslash backslash www dot before you put your website. And if you do that, then I'll click on it and I'll do it. Otherwise, I'll encourage you to learn Zoom etiquette and have you put it on before I try to click it. And that'll be all right because that'll be a good learning experience, which is what we're all about here. um, that's a backslash, right? Because sometimes I've heard them called something else. This is forward slash, actually, isn't it?
That's forward slash. That's not
Yeah.
backslash.
Thank you, Annie. I was figuring that with the crew I had here, they'd have the better words. So http colon forward slash www
Right.
dot. And then
Correct.
put your thing there. And what you're going to put on there is you're going to put something that could be publishable, because if I do ever get around to actually like updating the YouTube comments again, that's the kind of thing I'd throw in there as your thing there. I was doing it at the beginning. What are you laughing about, Phil?
When you said make sure it's publishable, I'm thinking, oh well, yeah, you could put like I don't know, Pornhub.com or something.
You could do that. Oh boy. But as far as like that, your greeting, you can put information on there, kind of like your contact information and that sort of thing. But yes, it's publishable, as in like something when you put it on there, you're happy for me to add it to the YouTube comments.
It was just one of those wicked thoughts that went across the mind.
That's all right. It's, that's where we go sometimes. All right. So spoken intro. So then we're going to go and introduce ourselves. I want to know your name. And it's a little different than your usual intro because I like to hear about how your business works just a little bit. Because I'm a systems guy. I like to hear about how things run for you and how they happen. Now that sounds a little off the normal. So as we go here, I'm going to figure out how to explain that to people to figure out what it is I'm actually asking. But the idea is I want to hear like somehow about how things work in your business. And then what your quest is, and it'll come out probably as a question. What are you trying to answer with your company? So you guys will notice that this is this is sort of adapted from what it's been for most of the time, but I kind of got close to this last time. This is kind of trying to figure out my brand, and this quest thing keeps coming up. So I'm like, all right, I'm gonna put this in here. We're gonna see how this goes. So this is a good way to kind of like work on that question. And was it Phil? Was that you or Eric last time that when they saw this, they thought, oh, that's cool, the question part?
Yeah.
Is that you?
No, I think it was Eric.
Eric, yeah. So that gave me a little confirmation that I was onto something there. So we'll see. And then I'll start with my website. I see someone's posted in the chat, and that would be, I'm going to pull it up just so I can see. Phil's on it. Annie will probably get her stuff in the chat here in a moment, right? Annie?
Yeah, hold on.
Oh, hold on. Good. Just making sure.
She's probably getting coffee.
In, so I apologize.
Oh, no, you're fine. My part is just making sure that making expectations clear. That way we'll move forward. And if it's not ready by then, that's okay. We'll jibber jabber for a while.
There's only 3 of us, so it can't be all that bad, right?
Oh no, it's good.
Good.
One of the things I found is that it's good for me to just clarify, make sure I'm clarified, and clarify a little more. It's part of my job, I guess. I don't like doing that. I usually like to kind of just throw an idea out there and let people sort of muss with it. But my webpage is loading, I think. It's doing something. Anyway, I'm looking forward to when I do update it. This is going to be the conversation for the next month or two every time I try to bring it up. And the site, there we go. I'm also updating my logo. This bird is going to flip around. And it's going to look a little more, it's going to have a little more live texture to it as opposed to this swish swoop. And I'm pretty excited about it. It's looking pretty cool as it's coming up.
So how do you make your website? Do you're doing it yourself on what platform?
So you're talking about the one coming up. That one is I'm having someone else do it.
Oh, right.
I have a lady named Janet Barclay, and she's from Canada. And she did the Professional Organizers of New Mexico website for us. So I belong to a group of professional organizers in New Mexico. There's about 8 of us that belong to the group. There's more organizers in the area than that, but those are the people that actually want to collaborate. And so, in fact, right here, these 2 are part of it too.
Annie, you're up there.
Yeah, I got it on. So when we were up,
Annie's photo is on Adam's webpage.
He's cheering you on for getting it done.
I don't know if you want me up there necessarily.
Yeah. So and Annie, you may not be logged into your account because all we see is your name.
No, I didn't put my picture up there. I didn't feel like putting my face up there.
That's fine. On YouTube, it doesn't show up at all. Did you know that? Even when I've noticed when I log in and I've got YouTube alive going on, if I don't have my face moving around on here like this, then YouTube pretends I'm not even there. It doesn't even bother with the image. Isn't that something? Yeah. So Phil, your question about who's doing it. So I shopped around a little bit, and someone had actually already used her for their website. Another organizer had.
There you go.
Thanks, Annie. YouTube won't know the difference, but at least now we can contemplate your face. Um, anyway, so what they had an old website and they were updating it, and the professional organizers in Mexico. And when they updated it, I checked with a couple people, and one of them was her, who one of the other ones had used, and she used to be a professional organizer herself, and so she kind of knows the industry, but she got into doing web developing, and so she got excited about that, and now does that for professional organizers mostly, and so she's going to be doing my website. The branding, although like she's kind of setting up the background of it. So this is multiple layers here, Phil. I've got someone else doing the logo who used to be a roommate of mine, and she does artsy things. She actually does like biology drawings for microbiology as well. So that's pretty cool. And then Janice Skidmore, who's shown up here, she's doing the branding with me.
Okay.
So what's our
Cool.
topic for today? Do we have a specific topic today? Sorry.
Yeah, it's flipping from, well, we'll get to that in a moment, but it's flipping between, business and family. So Phil, I guess I've talked enough. I'm going to move on now. Where are you at with your book? What's going on? Oh, here, I'll bring up this thing again. So again, what we're trying to do is name how your business works, and then what's your quest, the quest that you're trying to answer with your business.
Okay. Phil Wilton, you know me. How my business works? Well, that's a good question, because my business, or one of my businesses, besides helping Annie and National Science Foundation and all that kind of stuff, is how am I going to launch my book, and how am I going to be able to develop that into a new avenue, a new business. And I had a serious think about what I was doing this week after this week's 1 Million Cups with Gary and Why.
Yeah.
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 Because
the why. Go ahead.
Yeah. Because what really struck me about that was I went and I followed up and I looked at the YouTube video of is it Simon Sanchez that he said?
Yes.
Yeah.
Not Sanchez. Cynic.
Yeah, Cynic. Yeah. And there was one part in that video that I watched which was really cool, when he was saying about the circles, and you have the why and the how and the what. And people actually talk, people that are different, like Jobs and the Wright brothers and Martin Luther King, they talk from the middle of the circle out. So why to how to what, not what to how and why. And just thinking about that struck me, because my book, all right, I realized my book is not a book about strategy. My book is a book about how you plan strategy.
Huh.
All right. So there's a huge difference there. And because I'm not going to be telling you, I did a little change on my intro. All right. So I said the book is not about planning for strategy. No, this book is about planning for strategy. It's not about strategic planning. It's about gathering the right data from the right sources, both inside your organization as well as outside of your organization in the competitive marketplace. And so I'm much more comfortable with that now, because I can now focus on what my title is going to be. I've always had a trouble identifying what my title is going to be. But after listening,
you've been talking about that.
after listening to Gary and watching this video, I'm now fixed on where my title should be, and it's got to be in planning strategy or planning for strategy. Yeah, and not talk about strategic planning, because most people, when they say, oh, we're going to be doing some strategic planning, that this is the after event. We're going to be going in and we're going to be doing, we're going to start putting together the information. They're going to gather the people together and they're going to start discussing how they're going to do their strategy. But I'm pre that. I'm pre, how do you gather that information? How do you plan strategy? So that's my why. I'm very passionate about it. And I believe that that's the right way to do this. All right. Because most strategic plans fail. And I can list in my book, and I have done, the reasons why they fail. But that doesn't cure the problem. So curing the problem is how do you get them to get the right data from the right place inside their company and outside their company in the marketplace to allow them to have a successful strategy. So that's how I've got to try and mesh that all down into a succinct, intro.
Well, that's cool.
So I had a pivot this week, and I've got Gary's why test to do. I haven't done it yet because I just haven't had time, but I might do it today. And then, if you were on 1 Million Cups, so he and I made a pact that we would stop editing our books within the next 2 weeks.
Yeah.
So that we could then push to make sure we got them published. And so I wrote to him afterwards and I said, I'm going to take you up on this. All right. I expect you to not be doing any more your book. I'm not going to be doing any more edits into my book after 14 days from today.
Yeah.
Done.
Bam. Oh, that's exciting.
So, and I've got a call with my publisher on Monday. I'm a little bit still disappointed in getting the formatted book back because I haven't got it all yet. And the first view of the formatted book didn't come out properly. So I had to have words with the publisher and say, this is not good. They've since corrected that, but now I need to see some more images because it's gone from color to black and white. And some of the images I need to redo. So yeah, I'm publishing it in black and white only.
How come?
Because it's it's my first book, and it's already costing quite a few $1,000s. And if you want color, then it's another few $1,000s. So
yeah.
Yeah, and I've got a number of business books here that are in color. Yeah. But they're from professors at universities, and they all get helped. And I've got business books here, one from Clayton Christensen, actually, from Harvard, and it's all in black and white. So, why not?
Why not? That's cool. All right. Then we'll go to Annie. You have your LinkedIn account here. You want me to bring up your LinkedIn, huh? We'll find out
I didn't put, because I've got 2 businesses I'm trying to do here at the same time. Right, I'm trying to start my private money lending in real estate space. Basically, I'm in a real estate space, right?
Yeah.
So the core community housing being one of them, and doing a sustainable community, like Phil said, we're working on that. But I'm also doing the private money lending on the other side to help real estate investors with private money lending as a broker. So. Right, and my goal is basically in the real estate industry, if you will, to do something, on my terms. That's basically my goal, right? That's my quest, is to quote unquote semi-retire, right? And sort of leave a legacy, at least for my daughter. That's my goal, is a rather selfish goal, if you will. That's my why. I have 1 child, 1 daughter, that I want to leave something behind for her, that at least my life counted. And, as I near the end of my life, I'm 60 years old, I'm not getting any younger. So I'd like to think that I at least did
Nor am
right by
I.
my daughter. That's about, at the end of the day, that's really all that matters for most of us, that we leave something behind for our children. And Adam, you can probably associate, you've got a young family,
I got the
You-
wee
you don't
ones.
think- right? You don't think about that when you're young because you think you've got your whole life ahead of you. That whole life flashes in front of you. You don't think you think you've got all the time in the world until one day you said, oh my gosh, where did it go?
Yeah.
And all of a sudden you are where I'm at. And it's like,
That's
oh
a
my
key.
gosh,
That's a key reason why I switched my occupation, was to have the flexibility to be with my family. Yeah.
right? Exactly, right? And all of a sudden it's like she grew up, she's out of college and she's doing her own life. Where did time go?
Yeah.
Right? And it's like, I don't have that much time left, right? Maybe I have another 20, 30 years, maybe at best, right? If I'm lucky, if the good Lord don't take me away to
Yeah.
the heavenly realms, you know. Yeah. So this
Yeah.
is kind of where I'm at. Is kind of my strategy is as I exit out of this earthly realm, I mean, how do I make my life count? That is my quest, right? How do I get my rain checklist done? How do I leave something behind for my daughter? And have I left this earth in a better place than when I found it?
Right.
Right. Those are the three things. That's my quest. That's about it. Right. I'd like to think I will win the lottery
That's
one
cool.
day, but
And so that's one of the things you're doing.
this is why I'm doing what I'm doing.
Cool.
We are at our time of life. I have a saying for this, where you have more yesterdays than tomorrows.
Yes, thank you, Phil. We've had more yesterdays than tomorrow, right? Every time. And my daughter even said, I just got certified as a private money broker. And she's like, really, Mom, what are you trying to do? You're certified as a PMP, you're certified as a Scrum Master, you got certified as a nurse assistant. I know that you can achieve anything you set your mind to. But, and at one point, I wanted to do a PhD fellowship. I was like, no, it's enough. I'm not doing anymore. That's it. I can't take any of this to my grave, that's for sure.
That's funny.
At the end of the day, it won't matter how many degrees I have and how many certifications I have.
Yeah.
Adam,
Yes.
just flip back to that Y circle you just had up there. I like that one. It was,
Yeah, I will. Hold on.
then I'll do a screenshot of it.
Yeah, so that was, and I can also give you the website that it happened to be at, but where was it? It's right here. Common Thread. Common Thread CO. So I guess Colorado.com.
It's this,
Or
yes,
Common Thread
that's the
Company.
one, yeah.
I'll post that in our little chatty chat. Figuring out how to maneuver around all this stuff is, where's my chat? Is it sitting out in front of me and I don't see it? I click on the chat to show the chat, but the chat's not showing. Huh.
The chat's not
Oh
showing.
no, here. I don't know. For me, it wasn't showing, but now it is. I don't know what happened there. All right. I'll have to post it in this thing here. All right. Cool. So the topic, Annie, that I wanted to talk about was what you're talking about there, kind of flipping between family and home. And I'm going to take a little break here because there's something that just came up I'm going to deal with real quick. And then I'll be back in about 5 or 10 minutes. Is that cool, guys?
Well,
Sure, I'm
gonna
gonna
get
go get
coffee?
coffee while you're doing the break. I'm gonna go get coffee
All right, thanks.
and I'll be back.
How do I pause my voice here? There we go.
Hmm.
Well, that was a nice new one, little intermission.
Yeah, it was. Again, it's time to sit down and do the purpose.
That's cool. For the book,
Navigate through to help business navigate through difficult periods.
yeah.
Jotting stuff down.
Hey, I'm back. Sorry.
Oh no, you're good. I just got back myself. So it was a new intermission in the Friday Flow. You know, could have had some background music. That'd have been really cool. Then we'd been really hip. Yeah. So you guys shared the quests right now you're working on is Phil's quest is redefining his book. Or purposing his book, repurposing.
Yeah, and it's strange, isn't it, Adam? Because I don't have to rewrite it. I just
Yeah.
have to point it in the right direction.
Redirect. Book purpose. For creation of title.
It's like to prepare for the strategy for the strategy. It's weird.
Yeah, exactly. To
strategize for the strategy.
That's not meta at all.
Say that, 1,500 times.
That's a lot. And Annie, your quest is to make an impact
Yeah, significant
For-
impact, right? Just
for your
impact.
for your daughter
No,
and the
just
world.
impact, just to be an impact before, just impact in life. I mean, are we doing?
before death.
Well, no, just an impact in life, right? I mean, we want our life to have an impact, that we made a difference
Okay.
while we lived.
Yeah.
Did my life matter? That's the question of this, the philosophical question of the day. Did my life matter?
Yeah. Well, and mine is to make sense of a lot of stuff. So that's to explore the mystery. That's what I think. Explore.
I can make sense out of a lot of stuff, but did my life matter is more the key for me. That's what it is,
That's great. Yeah. Explore the mystery. And I guess that the way that translates into my company, because this is like, I come up with this great question for everybody else, but like, can I answer it myself? That's the one. And that's a big thing. Like, this switching between going back to the topic, switching between family and life. That's a big thing I'm trying to make happen for other folks too. Is I want to get into their business stuff and how it translates between family and life. And one of the things is I don't want to be the cobbler with shoeless kids. I want my own life to be able to like kind of do that switch between business and family and understand how to do that. And that's why it's a real hot topic for me, because like this morning, I wanted to be here and make this happen, even though this isn't a formal thing. It's supposed to be helping me get better at doing those things. And Phil knows that I wasn't quite here on time. I had things set up, but I know myself that I was still putting my hat on at after 9. So that was like, okay, Adam, you didn't do that right. So let's work on that. How do you make sure you've kind of wrapped up family stuff before you start on the business stuff? And the other way too is when I come home, so often, or when I come home, when I switch from the business world to the family world, I'm still like, this is really engaging stuff, like, because I really like dealing with mystery and things, and trying to find answers. And people just are not that easy to just find answers for. So it's more tempting for me to like think about things I could do for business. So flipping between them, and we've kind of had this conversation a little bit before, but working on those strategies. I wonder, do you guys know if there's a book out there that deals with this too? Or is there anyone that's giving you advice about that?
No, there isn't a book out there that do the two. And I mean, I've got a whole raft of books here on strategy. And it's all about, giving small case studies about different companies and how you implement strategy and the things that you need to be aware of and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And but I haven't seen anything out there that says, well, yeah, but how do you get to that stage?
Yeah.
I mean, some companies don't even know that they're in a situation of decline, because they don't know where they are on the business S curve, for example.
Yeah.
I mean, you might want to Google that, the business S curve, and I show you what my book does is show you you've got two important things that you need to be aware of. First off is how did you get to where you are today, for the good or bad, and where are you on the business S curve? And you don't have to pinpoint it exactly, but you can give a pretty good judgmental point on that curve of where you are. And if you can do that, then you can say, okay, now I know roughly where I am and how I got to where I am. Then I have a better idea of what I need to do going forward. But what I do is I enhance that, because I take you through a simple strategic planning process that guides you to pick up all the data points you need to be able to build a strategy.
Strategy for the strategy.
If that sounds impressive, then it is.
Buy my book. That's great. So,
So yeah, did you find the business? Yeah, so on the business ESCO, sorry, I wasn't looking. Yeah,
no,
so
that's fine.
this is for down here, down on the bottom left where you are there. That's for startups. Okay, that's the people that are just coming in. That's Annie with Core Community and the other lady I'm doing with her product. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
And then if you go up the curve, wow, what is happening? You know, this is the growth part of the curve where you go up. Yeah.
Yeah, we're kind of this is not going anywhere.
We're all going to be rich.
Right. Yeah. And so, and then when you, so this is generally the path that the companies take, and they grow, and then they come to the pinnacle point. And when you get to that point up there, and I can't see because you got the
Sorry, I'm trying to figure out how to open just the image. Open image in new tab. Okay.
You come to the pinnacle point.
Yeah.
On this S curve, what you don't see is that you begin to plateau, and you go, okay, what are we going to be doing, right? And here, most companies go down this line for some considerable time, yeah, because they're plateau, they're comfortable with what they're doing, comfortable where they are, they're still getting revenues in, but what they're not realizing is that their market is going to be gradually declining. So at the end of this curve, okay, on my curve in my book, you have a number of, you have like one that goes down, 2, 3 that point downwards, one that and the rest of them all point upwards. Okay, so you have like 3 offshoots going down and 3 offshoots going up, like this, yeah. And it's that point that you have to decide what you're going to be doing exactly here. It's at this point where you intersects that you need to decide what you're going to be doing. Because if you don't do it, if you plan strategy and you don't do it right, you're going to go on the trajectory that goes down, or you may even continue on a straight line. But if you plan your strategy correctly and you succeed, then you go up.
And you start another S curve, and then another S curve.
And then exactly, you start another S curve, because now you started, and you go back and you start and you go over it all again.
Yeah. So you repeat the process all over again at that point.
And you know, that's what's good about Apple. Apple just keep on innovating and innovating and innovating, and they carry on still doing the stuff that they're still a computer company, but they just keep innovating with all these other things.
Right. Yeah. So that's the squiggly worm. You get to be a squiggly worm.
Yeah, that's a good way of putting it, Annie. Yeah.
The grow.
And so there isn't a book. Cool. There isn't a book that tells you about that part until
until you realize you're there and you're sitting in the thick of things, and you go, "Oh shit."
There isn't a book until Phil makes it, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, you're saying, Annie, you don't notice the problem until you're in the problem.
Until you're in the problem, you really don't, right? Until somebody from the outside points that out to you. Yeah. Until an outsider comes in and says, "Hey, wait a minute, this is what you're," until somebody objectively says, "Here you go." And a lot of times companies don't want to hear that, because they're like, "Well, we're comfortable this way." It's the "who moved my cheese" syndrome.
Yeah, exactly. So it's I'm hoping it's going to be a big success, but I've got to think about it in why what's its purpose, how am I doing that for the customer, and what is it going to do for them?
Yeah.
And that's the bit I'm trying to work on now since Wednesday.
There's not one book, because you've got to put it all together. You've got to assimilate it. That's really what it really is, Adam. I think that's just my opinion, but that's me.
What do you mean by that? Are you talking about Phil's book or the family flip book?
it's just a general observation on my part. Having been a consultant in different industries and different clients that I've had over the years, small and big, right? I mean, I've had Abbott Laboratories, Bank of America, I've had huge clients, right? And the senior level, looking at it from the top and looking down, looking sideways. I've had clients who are in the $200,000 mark. I've had clients in the $2 billion or $20 billion. And they don't realize until somebody objective from the outside says, here, guys, you're not looking at it in this way. Can you look at it from here, from this angle? And somebody from the outside who doesn't have any political agenda, because when I come in, I don't have a political agenda. And I say, look, guys, I'm not vested into this. You guys are. And you all have a political agenda. I don't. I couldn't care less. You're going to, when I'm done with this assignment, I'm out of here. Right? So I'm not trying to impress anybody. So here you go. Here's the numbers, here's the facts, here's your pluses, here's your minuses. Take it for what it's worth. Right? I'm looking at it very objectively and no other agenda other than giving you the facts. That's it.
What was that little message that just came up on the bottom there, Adam? Something.
So it's the chat is probably popping up because you don't have chat open on the side.
Okay.
So it's me just like typing in the chat little ideas and words of what's going on. So like on the topic of planning and strategize, which is different than the topic that that I asked about, but it was interesting because you were really set on talking about your book, which is cool. You've got some laser focus there. But that's actually the thing that I'm talking about, is that we get so much into this, and this is the time to talk about stuff because we're trying to talk about it. But also I get in that point, like I'm really focused in on something. And then when it comes to like, dealing with like family, then I kind of switching back and getting as engaged in family stuff. Like that's the flip. It's like, how do we do that? How do we make sure, okay, so we want to chunk, like some people have suggested what you do is you block your time, right? You have this amount of time to do, like to focus on writing your book or to create your core community houses. And then we have this other chunk of time that we focus on developing relationships. And the developing relationships part for me is really weak. Like, I mean, some may think I'm doing pretty good at it, but for my part, I feel the different engagement. Like right now, I'm like, oh, this is what I'm doing. This is what I'm doing. And then when I flip over there, I do a lot of wandering.
You know what, Adam? When I first was going to 1 million cups, I think it was the second or third time I'd been, you did your Sparks Flow presentation.
Yeah. Oh,
right.
Yeah.
Right. So I didn't, all I knew about Adam was there was this guy who stands there with a tripod with an iPhone on top of it and sets up this weekly Facebook page on it.
Yeah, I do.
And
4 million cups.
And so I'm new down there, and I'm trying to ascertain who all the people are and get to know people. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then on the third week, you did Sparks Flow, and I went, and for me, it was like, oh, wow, okay, so he's doing all those kind of things.
Yeah.
And as I've gone on, and the more I know you, all right, I think you're an extremely interesting person.
Thanks.
And you have great social skills. And
Shucks.
for somebody that has, what is it, PhD? What is it? You
have? PhD. ADHD.
Yeah, ADHD.
Yeah.
I have to confess, I've not met many people with ADHD, but to actually get to know you and get to see how you handle it and how you integrate with people, I'm impressed. I think you do really well. I really do.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good point, because that plays a lot into it for me, because once you've met one ADD person or ADHD, that you've met one ADHD person, ADD. You don't know anything about the other folks. Apparently, that's what they say. And but some of the things that we get to do is hyper focus, which means that we really focus on something. But that means that we're not paying attention to anything else. More so, I guess, than most other people. But then also the other thing happens where like we're not able to focus on anything, which is what I often do with my family. So it's funny that I can do this hyper focus here, and then when I'm with my family, it's like this, like I don't know.
Right, but you've learned the ability to switch, because we all have our inbuilt biases, and we all have what we think we know about ADHD people that we don't really know, because we don't really know what they're going through. And so you build this wall to a certain level and say, well, that's what these people are.
Yeah.
And you've disproved all of that with me.
Hey, thanks. I'm there to break boundaries, right? So
so you know, and you're saying switching between work and home.
Yeah.
Well, in today's world, work is home, and because my family is in England and Northern Ireland, well, my friends are over in Europe. Yeah. For me, switching at the moment, and it sounds very cold and hard, is on my computer, it's Command Tab. All right. So, so Command Tab.
That's a framework.
Yeah. Command Tab for me will take me from doing business with Annie to doing a business with my other things.
Yeah.
All right. And to seeing my family, because that's where I can see them here.
Yeah.
So my switch is Command Tab, and I stay here, and I can get it all done from here.
Yeah. Yeah. And
then doesn't that sound very sad?
Well, so here's the thing too. That brings up an interesting point, because and I want to hear what you say are thinking, Annie. But what I'm talking about is more in the head, and what you're talking about is in your space, like where you move, which can both be a thing. So you have, like, for instance, like I'm in my garage, right? This is a place of work, whatever. You know, you can see my tools, you can see some mess that I also should deal with, kind of stuff, or that I want to deal with. And then I walk through that door right over there, and I'm in the home, right? So that's kind of my trigger, or could be, which it usually isn't, for, okay, I'm in a different framework, I'm in a different place. Whereas all you have to do is go, and you know, the place. And for you, it seems to be working fine, like, you know, but this is something I'm particularly tuned into. So for me, it's not working fine on my side. I'm like, there's something I want to do better about this, you know? And again, I'm probably doing pretty well, but I recognize I can be better, that I want to be better. It's a little pain for me that I want to, like, okay, this, and like Annie, you were talking about earlier, you know, they're growing up so fast. I mean, the whole reason I said that I switched my career was because I wanted to make the flexibility to be with family. And then what happens is the same thing that was happening when I was doing teaching, is I would bring the work or not come home, right? I would focus on the work to make the classroom better. And I just keep spinning my wheels there and never really make the flip. Even when I was home, I'd be still like working on things back at school. I moved blocks away from my school because I actually only worked a few blocks from here. Go ahead.
Well, don't get me wrong. I think my daughter picked up some valuable, how should I say it, habits or behaviors, if you will, from because of what I did, right? Because I was in technology and I was on 24/7 on call. She saw me do that kind of work 24/7. Yeah. Sometimes there's no boundaries between the business or the work and life, right? She saw me study for my PMP. She was 9 years old when I was studying for my PMP. Yeah. And I remember going to work doing disaster recovery in a data center, and I dragged her with me downtown Chicago, right? In a data center with cables and in a whole data center room. And my vendors, I remember my vendors calling me and saying, "You have your 4-year-old daughter with you in a data center room full of cables?" I said, "Yeah, she's right in front of me." I said, I had no choice. I said, "I don't have a babysitter. What do you think I'm going to do?" My husband is working on weekends. I work during the week. My husband works during the weekend. We choose not to have a babysitter. I don't have a babysitter on the weekend. Where do you think I'm going to go? I'm just leave her at home? She's 4 years old. I take her with me, right? What choice did I really have? Yeah. So she saw me work and live
which
the
is
life.
Great. Yeah, that's cool.
right? Which was great. She saw what mom did. And she's like, my mom does this for a living. How impressive. So when she grew up, she was very proud of the fact that you don't understand. My mom knows how to do this stuff. So I ask her for questions in IT. So anytime I need something in IT, even though I'm a millennial, I go call my mom. Because guess what? She has all the answers. You know? And it's like, what do you mean you're calling your mom for routers and cables and connections and wiring and all this stuff? And her friends are like, I can't believe your mom knows this stuff.
Yeah. Well, I really appreciate the feedback. I especially like it was neat to hear how Phil, you saw me during this transition and times of growing, and I love to hear about that stuff. And Annie, I really like your feedback about your family and like how you've seen the kind of the growth and things, but also recognize how time is moving. And your focus was you were bringing that up because you wanted to say, okay, time moves. I want impact. So moving on from that, I'm going to go back to my little slide here to keep my to keep my order. So we've shifted. That was the topic. Oh, I didn't do that part. Oh well. So okay, so we've done all that. We're discussing. Now we're gonna do the action ask, and I've kind of switched it up a little bit because I felt sort of lost at the end, and I don't want this to be exactly like BNI, where at the end you're just like, all right, these are the type of people I'm looking for you to send me, kind of thing, which is fine, like if that's what you want. But I'm trying to figure out what I want here, and one of the things I thought would be cool is like being specific, because making it a SMART goal, right? It needs to be specific, measurable, attainable, rousing, and time bound. So I've got some of that in here, so I'll work on this a little for here. But what 10-second thing can I do to help you on your quest, or what we can do? So what I want you to ask is like something you think that someone else, if not all of us, could do. It would take about 10 seconds that would help you on your quest. And Phil, you said yours was figuring this book thing out, and Annie, yours was making impact. So what's something you could do 10 seconds? And my ask is this.
I don't know. So what would I call my book?
All right.
I still don't have its title.
So we'll throw a couple ideas at you. But the other thing about this action ask is this is actions for afterwards. So we'll email you or call you. What do you want?
Either you can
or you can throw it in chat if you want. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Annie, 10-second thing that we could do that would help you on your quest.
That would help me on my quest. Right now, my first quest is to try and grow my private lending leg of my business. So I'm trying to help real estate investors to find money for their investments or for their deals.
Yeah.
So
10
to help
seconds
me with that, right? And then that's one.
Well, that's nothing. That you haven't told us a 10-second thing we can do to help you on your quest. You're under trying to describe what it is you're wanting help with, but you haven't described the 10-second thing we can do to help you. What can we to do?
Help me find people who need help funding their deals in real estate, single family to 4 units. Those are measurable. Those are specific.
Yeah. Would it take us 10 seconds to do that?
No, you wouldn't.
What would take us 10 seconds? What can we do in 10 seconds that would help you on your quest? So name somebody for you.
Right?
Think about it.
Name a real estate investor who needs help in that area.
Okay, there you go. So, and then I can email that to you or just put it in the chat.
Or text it to me. You know my phone number. You can text it to me. I
Great.
do texting.
I like this because it brings this little like question thing that was kind of at the end that was this really sort of mix of stuff. And as you could feel, it sort of narrowed us in on like, okay, what's something that we could do? It seems really attainable. Hopefully it's not going to take a big part away from anyone's day because it's supposed to only be 10 seconds. And then we can give back to the people's attending. So I'm liking this end for this stuff. So next week we're going to do talk about metrics, power, and goals, which relates to what I just talked about with that question having the 10-second measurement, and how do goals So how do goals with measurable criteria compare to goals without? And that'll be at this meetup link right here. And I can copy that and put that in the chat.
I'll give you a preview on that, and you can do some research on it. And it's another thing in my book, and I'll tell you OST.
Great. That's
Not going to give you any
sounds like
more.
that-
I'm not going to give you
That's a
any
good-
more. You have to go and see what you find out about it.
That's a great cliffhanger. Well, thank you guys all, and keep the sparks flowing.
See you, Adam. Good
All right,
show.
bye.
Enjoy your family.
I do.
Yes, enjoy the kids.
Thank you.
You're only kids for so long. Do enjoy them.
Life goes
Trust
on,
me.
right?